Today, a human being rapidly wanders off the path which in reality made him human. The search for ultimate truth and justice, the only goal which deserves to be the grand purpose of his existence. People easily and carelessly trade truth and justice for petty and transient pleasures of the moment. Due to the knowledge discovered and accumulated by great minds of the past, creation's most intricate secrets unveil themselves to the mankind. However, we do not seem to recognize and appreciate them, readily passing by them in pursuit of bare necessities. Alas, great wisdoms lost their true meaning and became prejudices which hold our spirits in captivity no less than they did during the Dark Ages. This film was prepared by independent researchers, philosophers, theologians, linguists, and mathematicians. This work is an attempt to understand a significant yet not as widely acclaimed scientific discovery, a mysterious encoding of the Quran, the book which claims to have supernatural origin. The book, highly discredited by recent historical events, will appear before you from its unknown, possibly even shocking side. For the next half hour, put all your stereotypes aside, and perhaps one of the universe's greatest mysteries shall be revealed to you, brilliantly beautiful in its simplicity.
Откроется перед вами ослепительно прекрасная в своей простоте.
To find truth, we have to define knowledge first. What and how can we know? Every one of us has all necessary resources to find answers to these questions through senses, reason, and time, all life. Truth, knowledge, meaning, essence, existence, actuality, reality, being. Every one of us understands or at least senses what is at stake here when he or she hears these words. But what is behind all these notions? Do they possess a tangible basis? What is truth and how do we find it? Should we even bother to look? The first human who showed that truth can only be known through reason was Socrates, who equated good with knowledge and evil with ignorance. This became the first ethical system in history and identified humans as beings who need knowledge no less than air, water, and food. From this moment on, in order to be a human, one was required to think independently and love truth. The first definition of man was given by Plato, a student of Socrates, who stated that humans are featherless, bipedal animals with broad nails, receptive to knowledge based on reasoning. Thus defining the human, Plato applied his mind to the theory of truth. This famous Greek discovered that human thinking is essentially conceptual and idealistic. This cleansed the human mind from the corrupting power of prejudices and traditions and cleared the path towards the truth. This laid the foundations for truth revolution of reason. According to great thinkers, the search for truth makes our existence meaningful. We carry all the necessary tools for such task. Abilities to sense and reason. Plato's pupil Aristotle discovered the laws of thinking, formal logic. Famous formula inferred by Descartes, I think, therefore I am, proved that every human is capable to independently find firm and confident knowledge. What drove these people to search for ultimate truth? Go against many, sacrifice wealth, friends, and even their own lives? The answer is simple: God. In their quest, philosophers discover rational confirmation of God's existence. Truth meant good, then knowledge, and eventually was equal to God. The innate idea of God became a spark discovered by great thinkers within themselves. The spark became flame that illuminated the history of mankind. Centuries had passed as philosophers continued to search for universal criteria for truth. In the end, such criteria was found. It was mathematics, logic's younger sister. Basis of both math and logic is order and proportion. Discovery of order enables us to see patterns and predict the development of things and events. Elegant beauty and credibility of mathematics enlightened, gave confidence, and led to the emergence of modern science. Today, science faces humanity's greatest question, the question of God, and mathematics help to raise this question. Theory. At first sight, it all seems as some sort of manipulation and trick. Skepticism in this case is quite appropriate and reflects a sound mind. It is possible to create patterns in words, even sentences, adjusting their values accordingly. This will take lots of time and mathematical skills. History knows of such examples. However, to do such task with a whole book, literary masterpiece, historical document, religious and philosophical scripture, ethical code, and judicial compendium is unreal. Colossal complexity of such task is unimaginable. Human intellect, especially in the 7th century, is simply not fit for such task. It would take supercomputer technologies to calculate data of such magnitude. It is not without reason that Quran challenges humanity to produce a book like this. Or do they say, he invented it? Say, bring 10 invented chapters like it, and call it on whom you can besides God, if you're truthful. So far, the challenge has not been accepted, and no one has been able to refute the mathematical miracle of the Quran. Will you dare? The mathematical miracle guarantees the safety of the scripture that remains as a long-awaited, indisputable confirmation of the extraterrestrial origin of the Quran. Verse 30 of the 74th chapter says the following. On it is 19. Traditionalists say that it is about the day of judgment when God and angels will tempt, mislead, and guide people, and disbelievers will question God. This understanding is based on neglectful and inconsistent reading of the Quranic text, since it is impossible to imagine that at the final judgment, God would have to mislead somebody and somebody would question God. What did God mean by this example? No. The day of final judgment is an event persuasive enough for everybody to be free of doubts about religion, scripture, or God's existence. Also, it is clear that it is not angels themselves, but their number, which is made as a test for disbelievers. So what exactly does Quran say about number 19? The Quran pays special attention to the number 19, which is meant to persuade the people of the scripture, reinforce faith of the believers, and guide them to the straight path, as well as to expose hypocrites and disbelievers and leave them in a state of misguidance. All of this must occur in this life, before the day of judgment. But why 19 and not 3, 5, or 100? Perhaps only in time we will understand the true purpose of the number 19 in the Quran. Nonetheless, it is safe to say that the number 19 proves the supernatural origins of the Quran and serves as the key which opens the door to a miracle. Clearly, before us is a perfect harmony, symmetry, and beauty. Code 19 is present not only in the first verse of the Quran, but literally it runs to the whole first Surah, Al-Fatiha. The first Surah consists of 7 verses. Let us write down order, number of each verse, number of words in each verse, number of letters in each verse, numerical value of each verse. Total number of words in the whole surah, 29. The number of letters in the whole surah, 139. Numerical value of all words in the surah, 10,143. Now let us represent available sequences as numbers which are divisible by 19. the end, we get 10 patterns divisible by 19.
Кратных 19.
So far, we have witnessed how Code 19 works with the first verse in the first chapter of the Quran. Creation of such complex system, according to our view, far transcends the boundaries of human abilities and points to the supernatural origin of the book. Mathematical code also safeguards Bismillah and Fatiha. First verse and first chapter are clearly preserved from distortions. If it wasn't so, the code simply would not work. Is there a similar code in the whole text of the book? Yes, the structure of the Quran is mathematically regulated and follows the same pattern. Code 19 protects the whole scripture. Unfortunately, time limits do not allow us to show all examples of big numbers, and we will only show 2 of them.
This presentation only for Surah Al-Fatiha. For better understanding, please watch next few minutes with large view and few more new mathematical issues about Surah Fatiha. This is the list of Arabic alphabet values, numerical value. This is Surah Al-Fatiha. Every attributes described here: ayat, letters, values and words, and describe all the numerical value of Surah Al-Fatiha and serial number. This is the summary of Surah Al-Fatiha, and always remember that Surah Al-Fatiha is number 1 surah of Quran. We will discuss 10 mathematical issues about Surah Al-Fatiha. This one is first one, and the blue color one is Surah number 1 surah. That's why blue color one mentioned here, the Surah number 1, and ayat serial number 1 to 7. This value divided by 19 with no remainder. Surah number 1 and letter of each ayat: 19, 17, 12, 11, 19, 18, 43. This value also divided by 19 with no remainder. Mathematical issue number 3: word serial number, letter of each ayat, value of each ayat. Mathematical issue number 4: surah number, ayat number, letter of each ayat, value of each ayat. This value also divided by 19 with no remainder. Number 5: surah number, total ayat and words of each ayat. This value also divided by 19. Number 6: surah number 1, total ayat 7, 139 total letters and 10,143 total value. This value also divided by 19. Surah number 1, total ayat 7 and 29 total words. This value also divided by 19. Number 8: surah number, ayat number, letter and total letters. Number 9, and this one is number 10.